All right, the recording is in progress. It means we can get started. All right. Hey, folks, I am going to call our first executive committee meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. And we're going to get started off today with a territorial land acknowledgement. So let's remind ourselves that we respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie First Nations. Unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we are currently situated on occupied territories. Okay, let's go into the roll call of attendance. When I call on your position, please state your name, your pronouns, and whether your access needs are met or not. I will start off with myself. So hello, everyone. My name is Helen. I go by pronouns she, her, hers, and all my access needs are met. I now like to call on our VP Internal.
Hi, everyone. My name is Judith. I use she, her pronouns. And my only access need is after most likely the HRP discussion, I will have to leave because I want to get home safe. The last bus that actually takes me home is at 8:40, and for me to get there is 2 hours. So I will need to head out soonish, but lovely to see everyone again.
All right. Thank you, Judith. Noted. Let's move over to our VP Finance.
Hi, everyone. My name is Abby. He, him pronouns, all my access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you. VP UAA.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nikki. I go by she, her, hers pronouns. Any pronouns are also okay. I don't think I'll get mad. Also, in terms of access needs, it's always, I have a lot of access needs, but, you know, it's easier to bring them up as they come up. But, you know, clarity, repeating certain things. It's a long meeting. So yeah, if I need clarification, I'll usually just send a chat. And yeah, thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Nikki. Let's move over to our VP External and Community Affairs.
Hey folks, my name is Ishana. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and all my access needs are met.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ishana. Let's go over to our VP Equity and Sustainability.
Hey everyone, I'm Ria. My pronouns are she, her, and they, them. And I'm calling in from the still unceded lands of the Semiahmoo, Katzie, Kwantlen, and Wasanich and Stoll First Nations. And then for access needs, I'm just a little bit dizzy and have a bit of a migraine, so I'll probably have my camera off. But yeah, that's it. I'm excited for this, our first meeting as well.
All right. Thanks so much, Ria. And finally, we have our VP Events and Student Affairs. Bye, Bev. Hi, Bev, can you hear? Okay. Bev is here with us, folks. I don't know if you're having a tech issue, V, but if you have the capacity to just put in your intro, your name, pronouns, and if your access needs are met, feel free anytime to just use the chat. Okay. Now that we are done with the roll call of attendance, since we don't have our society staff here today, actually, no, I'm wrong. We do have society staff here today. Let's call on our administrative assistant. Simmer, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. I'm Simmer. I go by he and him pronouns, and all my access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you, Simmer. Sorry, I almost glazed over you there. All right. So we don't have any regrets, leave of absence. Going on and over to the consent agenda. As you can see in the agenda, we do have receiving and filing some following meeting minutes there. The motion reads, be it resolved to adopt the consent agenda by unanimous consent. Opening the floor for discussion, just in case. Seeing that, we're just going to take that to a vote. Seek unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please say so. Seeing none, consent agenda is carried unanimously. Okay, let's move over now to item 5, which is the adoption of the agenda. The motion reads, be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. May I have a mover?
VP Internal.
VP Internal moves, thank you. And someone to second that motion?
VP Finance.
VP Finance seconds, thank you so much. I'm going to open the floor for discussion here. Okay, Nikki, you have a point of order.
Our point of information, yeah, just
sorry.
Yeah, if we're amending it, just we have to pass it first and then amend it. Just refreshing my Robert's rules.
Yeah, so basically is you have the motion brought forward, we move and then we second it, which means there's appetite for discussion. And now that we've opened it up for discussion, since there is some appetite here.
Oh, yes.
Now we can start adding in the amendments.
Great, I talked at the right time.
Yep, which you have a few.
I have 3, yeah.
Yes, so Nikki, if you don't mind, I can put those in the chat.
Sure.
Just so everyone can see, okay? And just so folks know, we have 3 motions submitted by Nikki to be amended onto the agenda. They will be motions 10.5, 10.6, and 10.7. So I am just going to do this all in one batch for it to be as quick as we can with it. So hang on a sec. Here is motion 10.5 to be added. They are long, folks, so my apologies for that. It's a bit of reading to do. Hang on a moment here. Just continuing on that part of that motion, the be it resolved clause. Okay. And then this one is our last one. Paste. Okay, so those are the 3 motions that Nikki is wanting to amend onto the agenda. If folks feel confident that they've given it a good skim and read through, just give me a thumbs up in your reaction so I know that you've given it a read. And then once you've done that, we can go on and vote on the amendment. I'll give it a few minutes. I'm just going to wait on Ria and Vaibhav that you've given it a read. Okay, I see a thumbs up. Okay, perfect. Thank you, executives. All right. So now that we've read through these motions in the chat, we need to vote on whether we want to amend the agenda with these items. So for this amendment, I am going to ask for a mover for these three motions. May I have a mover?
I can move it.
Okay, Nikki moves. And someone to second?
VP Internal.
VP Internal seconds. I'm going to open the floor for discussion now on whether on these amendments. If you have concerns, whatever, raise them now to talk about it. Okay, seeing none, let's take the amendment to a vote. I'm going to ask to seek unanimous consent. Seeking unanimous consent, if you wish to dissent, please raise your hand. Seeing none, these amendments are carried. So now let's go back to the original motion once again, which is, be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. We're adding these motions as 10.5, 10.6, and 10.7 onto the agenda. I'm once again opening the floor for discussion, just in case. Okay, seeing none, let's take this to a vote. Seeking unanimous consent, if you wish to dissent, please say so now. Seeing none, this motion is carried as amended. All right, awesome. Let's move on to item 6 of the agenda, which is a presentation. It's titled Varga Software for Clubs. It's submitted by Abby, so I will give you the floor. I also see Sohan here. Hi, Sohan. So yeah, you both have the floor.
Yeah, so Sohan actually came and talked to me in my office and pitched this software to me. So I thought it'd be a good idea for exec just take a look at it. Sohan, you have a presentation, yes?
Hi, I don't have a presentation. We had a little chat, so I thought I should rather show you what the software actually is and how the functionalities are. So I think so that you guys can get a better idea.
Did you need screen sharing then, Sohan?
Yeah, if you can allow me to screen share, I can.
I will give you that permission. Give me one moment here, Sohan.
For sure.
Okay, I think you should be able to now.
Yeah. Well, firstly, it's great to be part of the first exec meeting. I didn't know that this is the first exec meeting, so it's good to be part of it, which I hoped initially, but glad to see everyone here. Most of y'all know me from the elections. For those who don't, my name is Sohan Baviskar. I'm a 4th-year student in the Faculty of Arts and Social Science. And when we ran for elections, one common agenda on everyone's platform was increasing student engagement. And keeping the same thought in mind, I, along with my twin, have developed a proprietary software for university clubs and societies to better manage their organization. We started developing the software during the pandemic at the beginning of 2021, and contesting the elections was one of the approach to implement the use of that software. Although I did not get elected, I'm glad that many of the board members share the same thought as me when it comes to student engagement. So I would just share my screen and show you the app. It's just a prototype, so you guys can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. All right, it's on your screen. Sweet. So what you guys see is Varga is like, I know running a student organization during a semester is hectic itself. To be able to grow as a society, you cannot do it on your own. What makes a difference is having a team that you can trust, that you enjoy working with. And the last thing you should be worried about is the administration. After working with the RHA for a year, I realized that many clubs use disconnected tools for the day-to-day management, from maintaining spreadsheets, selling event tickets, communicating with students, procuring merchandise. There's a lot that goes behind running a club. While I respect the efforts put in by all the club execs, I must say that the current management process lacks efficiency. With Varga, what you see on your home screens is a one-stop solution for every student-run organization to achieve growth and increase student engagement. This is the landing page on your screen where you can see all the features that we have to offer. And on the top, you get an option to log in as a club or a student. When a club exec logs into the website, they get to fill in their details, and which gets them to the dashboard. Now, Varga's dashboard has everything that a student body needs throughout their operations. New clubs can register their new members here, right here. They can also broadcast emails and send out bulk emails to their members so that there's a direct communication with all the members about the recent events, which would increase student engagement. Next up here, we have the membership statistics, which shows all the members that have been registered month on month or week wise. We also get to see the revenue that is generated through ticket selling and the analytics, basically. So the software operates in such a way that it creates an automatic database every time you register a club or a member. The dashboard also has a unique platform where clubs get to manage their events. To create an event, a club can press on the create button, fill in all the necessary details, event time, address, and they can also talk about their ticket information. And if there's any meals involved during the events, we also have dietary restriction option here, and they can simply publish the event. Once the event is created, the clubs can see all the events that are ongoing right here. We also have the option to check out the previous events that were hosted by the clubs, which gives us a better idea for them to plan for the future events. You can also plan events in advance by going to the upcoming option. Next up I have here on the dashboard is merchandise. Now, merchandise is the best way, I feel like, to engage with the student community, and it also generates a lot of revenue for clubs. So mainly the clubs, as we all know, we all have worked with clubs and societies, and major revenue comes through ticket selling or merchandise selling. With Varga, we do not have to go to any other third-party merchandise to get our customized merchandise made. We have the option to buy merchandise right here on the website, where clubs can buy bottles, notebooks, and hoodies, and all the merchandise that are required. We have 12 products at the moment, and yeah, the clubs can select the product, whatever the product description is, tell us all the details, and within 24 hours, you will be contacted by our team with the quote. And this gives opportunity for even the smaller clubs who do not have enough budget to have their own customized merchandise. What they can do is just send us designs, and they do not have to worry about collecting inventory. Every time they need a hoodie, they can place an order and we can prepare it for them, even the single hoodie. So this gives opportunity for even the smaller clubs with less budget to have engagement with the student. And yeah, so this brings me to the next login window, which is for the students. So as we saw for the clubs and societies, another login window is for the students. The students, once they enter this window, they get an option for the group chats. So apart from the website, we also provide an app, a mobile app, where we provide all the group chats for all the courses offered at university. So Nikki, recently I saw you were helping a lot of psych students to find their group chats, and not everyone is kind enough like Nikki to help their peers find correct group chats. But what I've seen is, since last 4 years of my degree, students have been finding, like, I look for group chats every semester, but there's no one has to create one. What we have done here is we have created all the group chats, and all you have to do is download the app, sign up, fill in necessary details, and just start chatting with your peers from day one. Apart from the chatting options, the app also comes with a trending at university feed. This is a website prototype, but it also has an app where where students can see all the events that are published by the clubs, which were showed to you earlier from the club's end. And they can filter events, see what they want, check out the event details, product description, how many tickets they want to buy, and they can buy tickets through our website as well. So this gives like a perfect synergized platform for clubs and societies to just engage with each other, and so students do not miss out on academics when it comes to group chats, and they do not even miss out on extracurricular when clubs are organizing exciting events for them. So I think what I realized was admin part for clubs was difficult. So administration, and I feel like execs should focus on creating events and how they can reach out to students and leave the admin part to Varga. We can do that for you. So this was a prototype which I made, and I am hoping to work with the SFSS to implement this clubs as a prototype. It's a proprietary software which we are looking to sell to the university clubs. However, since SFU is my university and I want to implement it with you guys, we're going to do it for free and run as a pilot project with your help. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you and the entire team, since our goals align when it comes to student engagement. So it's really exciting to be here. And yeah, if you have any questions regarding the software, how it functions, I'm here to answer.
All right. Thank you, Sohan. Thanks for the presentation. I'm going to open up the floor for discussion then. Nikki, you're on the list.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sohan. It's nice to hear from you, and also thank you for your presentation. I do want to say that, yeah, there has been a significant issue on an ongoing basis with the disorganization of the creation of group chats. And as when I was the president of the Philosophy Student Union, I was actually the first DSU to work with the department to instantiate officialized group chats and have it through the recommendation of the professors, and to have it oversight from a student union to help with issues of academic dishonesty and preventing stuff like that, and actually end up working really well. We've done it through Discord, but it does take a lot of labor and time on the behalf of voluntary work, honestly, from like student people who choose to be student union executives. There's pros and cons to it. So I think that there is, it'd be great, but I think the thing is that there needs to be work to really help and motivate people to actually download the app, because client acquisition stuff, as a general term, is one of the hardest things, like when you're having any kind of startup. And we, like in the PSU, the biggest issue that I've noticed with getting students to be involved in group chats is that we are having an over Discord, and not every student had Discord, even knew how to use Discord, and Discord is something that's already established, right? So that was one hurdle we've gone through. So that's my experience with it, but I think that this is going in the right direction. One thing that I would like to see is that, do you have any reference document or something that I can look at that outlines exactly what your software does, what your proposal is, and how we can help, and then potentially we can all as executives talk about it and review it and kind of go about it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. And I've seen you actively helping students to reach their group chats. And we actually did, as I mentioned, we started working more than a year ago. And while we were doing our studies, we realized that group chats, we reached out to, we also conducted a survey of around 6,000 students from UBC and SFU, and to determine the need of group chats and how there's an obligation for students when it comes to getting on a group chat of Messenger. You need someone to create one and add you to it. Same with the Discord, even though the link is open, one has to create a link for the Discord. So as you said, there is a lot in labor, which is what we want to accelerate. And we've created all the group chats, so students do not have to find one. Once they, also the app is for free. So students have all the more reason to connect with their peers without any obligation. And yeah, apart from the academics, just the group chats, we're also providing them with the clubs events, which is a perfect balance. We think it's a perfect balance for a student to be a great student member be at its best at university, so yeah. And if you want we have our prototype, we have our document as well, if you want to go through all the feature list and all our privacy policy and terms and conditions. And I'll be happy to share it with you guys once we started working in the coming days, which I hope so.
All right, thank you. I see we have Judith on the speakers list. Go for it.
Yeah, so thanks so much, Sohan, for coming out and actually like taking the step to actually boost student engagement. I was a DXU exec for over a year and a half. So I'm aware of the SFU portal and the SFSS portal that we have. It's kind of archaic, especially compared to the one that you just showed us. It looks really nice. Obviously, before we would take any further steps, we would have to talk to our staff who manage the portal, because while we might like the way it looks, we want to make sure that like it actually does fulfill our like societal duties to actual membership. But I do have to have a question, because this was actually something I'm thinking about when you were talking about the group chats part. So because like classes change based on semester, so would like people, once they finish the class, like be automatically removed from the group chat? Would you have to leave it yourself?
Yeah, so the group chat expires after 5 months. So it gives us buffer time to exit and everything. I think those questions you have those questions because I did not get a chance to show you the app version of it, because the app is designed in such a way that students only have to tell us what they're doing on Facebook, looking for group chats. Similar way, they tell us what group chat they're looking for based on unique code name and section and the professor's name. We add them to the perfect group chat. And after 4 months, they get removed from the group chat and the new course gets added.
Oh, awesome.
There's no scattering of group chats, no like members who are not part of that course cannot enter the group chat. It's all taken care of. Yeah, and I understand there's protocol and process when it comes to working with the SFSS. So I'll be happy to talk to the staff or present them the idea, and if there's any requirement from legal requirements or privacy requirements from my end, I can definitely provide it.
Awesome, amazing. Thank you, Sohan.
Thanks.
Okay, let's move on to Ria. Ria, you're on the speakers list.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much, Sohan, for coming here and taking the time to come to our exec meeting. I know it's the evening as well, and also great to see you after the campaign, and like so nice to see you like all the work you're doing after that and staying engaged with like students and everything. Yeah, I guess yeah, like the looking through the club's sort of portal is like really great. I know, like as Judith mentioned and others, that it is a little old, the one that we're using right now, and also there are accessibility concerns as well. So this is definitely something that we need to work with staff on, just to improve this and improve the functionality and the experience that student clubs and like DSUs have. Yeah, I guess another thing, just to echo what Nikki was saying, with getting students to use the chat function, because I know like with a lot of students, like a big thing is efficiency, and it's like they use kind of like what they have, like Instagram, or like I know a lot of students as well, even using Messenger is like another thing like a lot of students don't have, they have to download. So I guess just how like if we do have this service and then only like some students are using it and other students are using like Messenger, Instagram, and it gets like split up, I guess that's just something to work towards. And it is about what the students, like for catering for students, what they're looking for. And I know like with Instagram, Discord, and like Facebook Messenger and like Snapchat or group chats like that, there is also like the social media aspect, which makes it more simple, because most students kind of already have that, or they can like make friends through that and like see their profiles and all of that. But I guess, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. But thank you again so much.
Thank you for bringing that up. So just to echo what I said earlier, we did a survey of 6,000 people, and our survey said that 77% students, they do need group chat. 93% of the group chats are on Messenger, only 6% are on Discord, and other 1% is all scattered. So it's mainly Messenger. And again, there is a constraint, there's an obligation for a party to add students, which is not in case of Varga. And yeah, you definitely mentioned about how students can, how it will be difficult for students to be part of a group chat. There will be multiple group chats of the same course, but that's what's happening right now. Students are creating their own group chats, adding their own friends, and there is actually that problem is still unsolved, which through Varga, there is a standardization, and once there's a platform which is made for just group chats of universities, we are hoping that students will tend to follow it. Yeah, so I think our survey is what I can back up with. I can give you the survey details once we move ahead with talking to the staff members, and yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you. Nikki, I see you're on the speakers list. Before you go for it, I do want to say that we need to wrap up this presentation within the next minute, as we have a lot of motions and a lot of discussion items that executive needs to go through. So Nikki, will end it off with you. You may have the floor.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I want to definitely, I think we should go through, the information that you can send to us, Sohan, regarding what the software does, what, what you've currently achieved with the software, and also prospectively what you're planning on doing with the software, how it can benefit students, and how we can help you. So information like that would be good to have, so us all as executives can discuss and work together and see what works the best. And I do want to say that there could be and I wonder if this is something that exec can also consider. And because if this option doesn't work, then I think that Sohan's suggestion is a very probable option, which is in the Philosophy Student Union, my initiation and my project to create the group chat initiative, working with the Department of Philosophy to officialize them and have each group chat actually officially both announced at the very beginning of the semester on Canvas and sent to the emails of students, and also mentioned in the first day of class to all students by the professor and recommended by the professor. That has been the best way to get students into the Discord, and that actually working with the department through classes. I think that's something that student unions, the departmental student unions, have as I guess an advantage over perhaps a more independent corporation or I guess project in that kind of way, because professors are more likely to empathize with student volunteers, I think, in that kind of way. But I'm thinking that maybe we can compare and contrast as executives how the prospects of potentially tasking each departmental student union with also coming up with a group chat initiative, and see if that is very if not possible to happen, then this could be an option, right? Like Sohan's suggestion, but because it has been very successful through the Philosophy Student Union, and the thing that I think Discord, for example, can do that perhaps your software can't do is the social aspect, right? Which is people stick around to socialize afterwards, and people might not do that in group chats, and there's also different channels, but that could be also fixed through the software, right? So what I'm saying is it's probably not very possible, right? For I'm not sure, we have to discuss it, to task each DSU to try doing their own group chat initiative. But that's something we can test. And if that doesn't work, then that can be something we can consider Sohan's, for example. That's one of my, I guess, process-based ones, because we can test something that may not work. And if we know definitively that it doesn't work, then, we can be more really open-minded about other options too. I hope that makes sense. Right?
100%. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, wonderful. So Sohan, thank you so much for coming out to the exec committee meeting today and providing this lovely presentation for us. It does look like that of course. It does look like we executives do need some more time to soak in the information, read through it all. So since you had already consulted with Abby on it to begin with, I'm going to ask that you forward all whatever materials that you think would be helpful for us to be more knowledgeable on the matter. Just forward that off to Abby, and then Abby will give it to us executives, and we'll see where we go from there.
Sounds amazing. Just to add one last thing, that was
please
to run one more intention to run with the SFSS. This project with the SFSS was to get smaller amount of feedback. This app hasn't been tested. So I'm also hoping that I'll be able to test the app with limited amount of clubs so that how it is functioning even in the real world. And that is something I'm hoping to do. So like a 10, 15, 20 clubs try to sell their tickets throughout the summer. That is something I want to test on. So just to, and get feedbacks, and I want to work personally with the clubs and get their feedbacks if there's anything, if there's anything that they want to add to the software. Being a small company, it is easy for us to get tech progress within a week. So if they want to add any additional feature, we can get that out rolling in a week. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. And thank you so much for having me. Abhi, I'll be in touch with you. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Sohan. Alrighty, so let's move forward onto new business. All right, so we have motion 10.1 under new business is titled Associate Vice President, External and Community Affairs Appointment. The motion reads, it was submitted by Ishana. The motion reads, whereas Gabe Leosis has been nominated by Ishana Baran to be the Associate Vice President, External and Community Affairs for the 2022-2023 year. Be it resolved to appoint Gabe Leosis as the Associate Vice President, External and Community Affairs until April 31st, 2023. May I have a mover for this motion?
VP External.
VP External moves, and someone to second this motion?
VP Equity and Sustainability.
VP Equity and Sustainability seconds. All right, I am going to open the floor for discussion on this. If you have anything to say, please list yourself in the chat. Okay, Shauna, you're on the list. Go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, it would be great to have Gabe as my AVP. He has done so much like great work and has so much like history within the SFSS as well. Also just knowing like the ins and outs of the SFSS. Also, it's really great to have someone to also lean on in terms of admin sort of things. So in terms of like scheduling meetings, also just have it, for instance, like also like work orders for comms and whatnot, which do take up time. So having someone there to support as well is really great. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions on this. Thanks, folks.
Thank you, Ishana. Anyone else on the list? Okay. Seeing that there isn't, let's take this to a vote. All right. I am going to go by roll call of attendance just in case. So wait, what was that? No, that was, okay, that was nothing. That was my email. All righty. We're going to go by roll call of attendance just in case. When I call on your name, or actually no, when I call on your position, please state whether you are voting in favor or against or abstaining. So I will start with myself. As president, I will vote in favor for this motion. VP Internal?
In favor.
VP Finance?
In favor.
VP UAA?
In favor.
VP External?
In favor.
VP Equity and Sustainability?
In favor.
VP Events?
In favor.
All right. With that said, that motion is carried. Awesome. Congrats to Gabe. He is officially appointed. All righty. Let's move on to item 10.2. which is passing funds for the Alliance of BC Students Skills and Training. The motion reads, whereas the Alliance of BC Students, parentheses ABCS, hosted a skills and training conference from May 27th to May 29th with student society executives from across the province. Whereas the SFSS typically sends an executive to the conference such as these, and Ria Chatterjee, Ishana Baran, and Helen Sophia Pahu attended. Whereas the conference costs $100 each for non-ABCS members to attend, with these funds typically coming from the conference's budget. Be it resolved that the executive committee approves up the $300 from the conference's budget or another appropriate line item as determined by the VP Finance for Ria Chatterjee, Ishana Baran, and Helen Sophia Pahu, having attended the ABCS Skills Training Conference from May 27th to May 29th. May I have a mover for this motion?
VP Finance.
VP External.
Okay, VP Finance moves and VP External will second. I'm going to open the floor for discussion on this item. Ria, you have the floor. You're on the speakers list.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that it was such an amazing conference, and so lucky that me, Shana, and Helen were able to go. And we actually invited Ariana from the ABCS to our Palestinian celebration the other day. And it was really great making those connections. And I know that we talked about discussing having a meeting as well with the ABCS folks. And she's also from the Capilano Student Union, to have a lunch with as many execs that can make it out, and just really great making these connections and working together with the different student unions. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Great. Thank you, Ria. Anyone else on the speakers list? Anyone else that want to have anything to say? No? All right. I'll just say that I echo the same things. It was a very rewarding experience to be in the conference and getting to meet different student organizers and what they're up to with their student societies from other neighboring university student societies. I'm out of words right now. It was fun. It was good. Okay, awesome. So we're going to close the discussion and take this to a vote. So, seeking unanimous consent. If you wish a dissent, please say so. Raise your hand. Seeing none, this motion is carried. Wonderful. Let's move on to item 10.3 under new business, which is titled Associate Vice President, University and Academic Affairs, appointment number 1. It was submitted by our VP UAA, Nikki, and the motion reads, whereas Roscoe Koprivica, that's how I'm sorry.
Koprivica, I guess. It's a
Koprivica?
Yeah. That's
okay.
Closer. Yeah.
Okay.
No problem. No.
Sorry, Roscoe. Has been nominated by Nicole Kerrigan to be an Associate Vice President, University and Academic Affairs for the 2022-2023 year. Be it resolved to appoint Roscoe Koprivica, I'm sorry, as an Associate Vice President, University and Academic Affairs until April 31st of 2023. May I have a mover for this motion?
I'll move it.
Okay. Nikki moves. And someone to second that motion?
I'll second that.
And Viba, VP Events, seconds. Okay. We're going to open the floor for discussion. Okay, seeing none, we're going to take this to a vote. I am again going to go through a roll call of attendance just in case. So again, when I call on your position, please state whether you're voting in favor, against, or are abstaining. So I will start with myself. I will vote in favor of this motion. VP Internal?
In favor.
Thank you. VP Finance?
In favor.
Thank you. VP UAA?
In favor.
Thank you. VP External?
In favor.
In favor, thank you. VP Equity and Sustainability.
In favor.
All right, thank you. And VP Events.
Favor.
In favor. Wonderful. Okay, so that means that motion is carried. Congrats to Roscoe, he is appointed.
Yay, congrats.
Wonderful. All right. And now moving on to item 10.4, which is titled Associate Vice President, University and Academic Affairs, appointment number 2. Since executive committee members are able to appoint more than one associate vice president, the motion reads, whereas Gurmehar Singh has been nominated by Nicole Kerrigan to be an associate vice president, University and Academic Affairs for the 2022-2023 year. Be it resolved to appoint Gurmehar Singh as an associate vice president, University and Academic Affairs until April 31st of 2023. May I have a mover for this motion?
I'll move it.
Nikki moves. May I have someone to second that?
VP Finance.
VP Finance seconds. We're going to open the floor for discussion on the motion. Abby, you have the floor.
I'd just like to know, I want to, two things. This is Gurmehar Singh, not from SFSS. This is different Gurmehar Singh. Second, given that they're not a member of council, they will not be paid for this position. Just wanted that noted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Abby. Anyone else? Nikki, you're on the list.
Yeah, I just want to respond to Abby. Yeah, thanks for clarifying. And yeah, he's aware that he's not getting paid if he's not a member of council. And yeah, and he's aware of that and okay with that. So thanks.
Okay, awesome. Any more discussion? Seeing none, we're going to go and take this to a vote via roll call. Again, you know the drill. If I call on your position, please state whether you're voting in favor, against, or abstaining. I will once again start with myself. I will vote in favor for this motion. VP Internal?
In favor.
Thank you. VP Finance?
In favor.
Thank you. VP University and Academic Affairs?
In favor.
Thank you. VP External?
In favor.
Thank you. VP Equity and Sustainability?
In favor.
Awesome. And VP Events?
In favor.
All right. That motion is carried as a whole. Gur is appointed, so congrats to him. Awesome. Let's now, oh, hang on. Nope, we've amended the agenda with so many more discussion items, motions. Let's now move on to motion 10.5 and again, I will copy and paste this into the chat. You've all seen it. This is one of the first amended motions that we put onto the agenda today. I will read this motion because it is, what is it? Tradition. So I didn't get that last part of it. Here we go. Okay, so the motion reads, whereas the building manager, John Walsh, is on leave until July of 2022, whereas the building manager, John Walsh, is exclusively able to determine the exact costs of installing blinds on the internal windows in the 4,000 level society executive offices, whereas there is an immediate accessibility issue as related to the absence of internal window coverings in sub 4128, whereas the process of installing permanent blinds is estimated to take several months to complete, whereas John Walsh has recommended a temporary measure for the installation of window coverings for the internal windows in sub 4128, whereas the temporary measure is a cost-effective option and will meet immediate access needs. Be it resolved that the executive committee approve the amount of $52 from a fund as assessed by the VP Finance and Services, Abhishek Parmar, for the installation of internal facing window coverings in the sub 4128 in the form of a pressure fit rod and blackout curtains. All right. May I have a mover for this motion?
I'll move it.
Nikki moves. May I have someone second that motion?
VP Finance.
VP Finance seconds. Okay. I'm going to open the floor for discussion. And Nikki, since you did bring this motion to the table, I can give you the floor to start it off.
Yeah, sure. I do know that I think for access need related issues, I think that would be more like in camera if I'm going to go into like details about exact like reasons, but I do have like access need reasons for this. And I've talked to John many times about, you know, the different ways that blinds can be installed in offices. And it is prospectively like a plan and something that we want to do like for all the offices for the internal windows. And it's been something even the previous execs have like wanted to do, but just hasn't happened and it hasn't been a priority. And it's also very expensive to do like the full on windows. And they would be the same, the official type of windows, like the permanent fixtures would be the same type of roll down windows that you would see kind of on the external, I guess like windows of like the sub in general. It just wouldn't be a double curtain. It would be a single curtain, which is slightly cheaper, but it's still costing thousands of dollars. So that's something that we will talk about, I think, more long-term, but I do have an immediate need for having a temporary solution, and the temporary solution is cost effective. And I've talked about it in detail with John, and he's suggested this exact like solution. And I'm happy to take on the initiative to, I know exactly which ones to purchase, and as long as the reimbursement can happen, then I can take on that and deal with it myself. So yeah, hope that makes sense.
Thank you, Nikki. Anyone else? Okay. Okay, it looks like there's no more discussion on this motion, so let's take this to a vote. I'm going to seek unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent or abstain, please say so now or raise your hand. Seeing none, this amended motion onto the agenda is carried unanimously. All right. Great. Let's move on to the next motion. It is 10.6 on the agenda. We're going to give it the title of external facing window coverings. I'm again going to drop this in the chat for everyone to see. Please give me a moment. Okay. That is the full motion, and I will read it out to everyone. So the motion reads, whereas the building manager, John Walsh, is on leave until July of 2022, whereas the building manager, John Walsh, is exclusively able to determine the exact costs of installing blinds for the external window in sub 4128, whereas there is an immediate accessibility issues as related to the absence of external window coverings in sub 4128, whereas the process of installing permanent blinds is estimated to take several months to complete, whereas John Walsh has recommended a temporary measure for the installation of window coverings for the external window in sub 4128, whereas the temporary measure is a cost-effective option and will meet immediate access needs, be it resolved that the executive committee approve the amount of $52 from a fund as assessed by the VP Finance and Services, Abhishek Parmar, for the installation of external facing window coverings in the sub 4128 in the form of a pressure fit rod and blackout curtains. May I have a mover for this motion?
VPUAA.
VPUAA moves. And someone to second that, please.
VP External.
VP External seconds. All right. I'm going to open the floor for discussion now. Nikki, since you brought this motion to the table, please go for it. Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so the difference between this motion and the past motion is that in my office, sub 4128, I have two windows. So one is an external window and one's an external window. So one's facing outside and one's facing inside. This one here is for the external window. And as you can actually see, I can actually give visual information now. So I have this banner here that's blocking some of the sunlight from going into my eyes during this meeting, but it's not very effective. So this is also, yeah, that's one of the main reasons, but it also gets very hot in this office because it is, I believe this is a west facing window. So the afternoon sun really ends up taking in a lot of the heat, and the AC doesn't, right now in the moment, there's actually HVAC people going to be coming in to look at the AC in my office because it's not compensating for the amount of heat that comes in the afternoon. So yeah, I hope that gives context for that. And this is also, it's the exact same solution. It's a pressure fit rod, which doesn't create holes. It doesn't create any damage to the office, and a blackout curtain, and that will be a temporary solution. And yeah, hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. I'm going to open the floor. Okay. Okay, it looks like there's no more discussion on this, so let's take this motion to a vote. I am once again going to seek unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent or abstain, please raise your hand. Seeing none, this motion is carried unanimously. Okay, all right. We're going to move over to our last motion that was amended onto the agenda, onto today's agenda. We're going to give it the title, HEPA Air Purifier for Executives. And I'm going to copy and paste that into the chat here again. It was also submitted by Nikki. I am going to read this motion. And it reads, whereas there is an access need for a HEPA air purifier in sub 4128, whereas there is an access need for a fan in sub 4128, whereas the purchase of a HEPA air purifier would double in functionality as a fan, whereas the HEPA air purifier can be utilized in the executive committee common room area. Yeah, common area when not in use by the occupant of sub 4128, whereas a specific HEPA air purifier has been recommended by the DNA, whereas funding has been approved for HEPA air purifiers in the past for the purpose of meeting access needs, be it resolved that the executive committee approve the amount of $99.99 plus applicable taxes, which is $334.88 from a fund as assessed by the VP Finance and Services, Abhishek Parmar, for the purchase of a HEPA air purifier for sub 4128. May I have a mover for this motion?
VP UAA.
VP UAA moves, and someone to second that.
VP Finance.
VP Finance seconds. All right, I'm going to open the floor for discussion on this motion. Nikki, you again had brought this motion to the table. Please go for it if you'd like to speak to it.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I've also, I've talked to Abby about this specific motion. I've also talked to Vivian from the DNA, and also I've talked to John, the building manager, about the possibility of there being extra HEPA air filters and air purifiers. And there is currently a restriction in my ability to get the air purifiers very easily because they are being allocated to specific rooms for immunocompromised students, and currently they need to be there in order for students to be able to book them, even though there may not be they may not be being booked all the time. It still needs to be available for students to book. So I can't access those ones. So I need to I'm passing a motion, or I'm requesting for funding for like to have one in the office in 4128, and it can also be used in the executive committee common area when I'm not in the office, and I'm like happy to share it like that. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. Anyone else have anything to add? Okay. Seeing that there's no more discussion on this, let's just take this to a vote. I am once again going to seek unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please say so now. If you wish to abstain, please say so now. Seeing none, this motion is carried unanimously. All right, that's the end of our new business items. All right, no problem, Nikki. Let's move over to our discussion items. And discussion item 11.1, titled HRP Executive Subcommittee Elections. It was submitted by Judith, our VP Internal. So Judith, you have the floor.
Yeah, so as some of you may know, we do have a subcommittee called HR and Personnel, which actually fall under a executive subcommittee. So they basically deal with HR issues, personnel reviews and stuff like that. Those of you who don't know, the usual composition of HRP is a chairperson, that's the president, there's a vice chairperson, that's VP Internal. There's also a designated seat for VP Equity and Sustainability. And then there is one council seat. So the composition does say that it's preferably a non-executive counselor that's supposed to fill that seat. Ideally, I suggest we stick with that. But there's also two non-voting seats, operations organizer and board organizer. But the point being is that I looked earlier in May, and the past precedents on electing someone into HRP has been through the executive committee, which is why originally we did not have a motion to elect anyone to HRP through council. I personally would have preferred for it to be open at council because more councillors can actually attend those meetings. But given that we do not have so many great policies in regards to committee elections, and since it is an executive subcommittee and the precedence is that it happens through executive, I suggest we do that. I guess what I want to bring is the exec, so A, you're not caught off guard. And also B, I think we should probably, or at least I should, send out an email to council and be like, hey, we have this subcommittee. It's HR basically. I actually don't know, to the best of my knowledge, it wasn't super active for the past year or so. That's unfortunately pretty common for most of the committees, unfortunately. But I can send that email to council to those who are interested in it. They could attend an exec committee meeting and, you know, basically pitch themselves. I am reluctant against electronic nominations given the fact that I don't think it happened last time. So I really think we should stick with precedence on this until we get our policies in line in terms of how committee elections go. So I want to get people's thoughts on this. It's nothing crazy. I think we can just go about it and do it the way that was done, I guess, last year, which is just have a motion basically saying be resolved to appoint person X to HRP. And then whoever shows up, whoever is interested in it shows up, and we either amend their name into the motion, or if there's multiple people, we get to take a vote. But yeah, did want to give people a heads up in case you haven't seen the policy or haven't heard of a committee, which is fair. It's not all those like front and center committees. So yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna open up the floor for anybody who has any thoughts, comments on this, how we should go about it.
All right, thank you, Judith. I'm going to start going through the speakers list here. Abby, you have the floor.
I think it's something for next year's governance committee to look at. And I say next year because we already have too much to do this year. But I'm on the same wavelength as Judith on this, then that I think we should follow precedents. Like I don't want us to have to like do an election, then have to redo it again. So let's just follow precedents. And I think that's the easiest way to go about it.
All right, thank you, Abby. Nikki, you're on the list.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, I guess I could have put this as a point of information, but can I just get like a summary of like what exactly is the specific issue with the HR committee and why, I guess like just like a summary of like what the problem is and why we have to be aware of it. Again, this is an access need.
Yeah, Judith, you have a direct response. Go for
There
it.
is no problem with HRP, but we do want to get a counselor onto HRP because there's a council seat for HRP. And again, based on past precedents, which I think we should follow in this case, we should be doing that through executive committee. Given that we didn't get a chance to meet in May, this got delayed till now, which is fine. But yeah, I think that's something we should probably do, given that there is a seat, and if there's interest in it, we should fill it if we can. Counselors do need to sit on at least one committee, so this is like a good opportunity for those who haven't seen anything they like until now.
Great. Thank you, Judith. Nikki, you're on the list again.
Yeah, thank you, Judith. I guess just like one piece of context I'm missing is in order to understand this is just that like what's it like, is there, why can't it just be like added to the agenda as like a normal committee election, just like how the last one was done? Is that like, it doesn't need to be different for this specific committee because it has that provision? Like I'm just missing a piece of context. So yeah.
Judith, do you have a direct response?
Yes, so like I said, it is established as an executive subcommittee. So again, based on past precedents, it is supposed to be elected, I guess, through executive committee. Even in the terms of reference, it states the executive committee shall maintain the HRP subcommittee as its standing subcommittee of the executive committee. So it is a subcommittee of us. So that's essentially why, I guess, by procedure, it would go through us, which is why we couldn't just add it as a general election motion to the council agenda.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Judith. So, okay, Nikki, you're on the list.
Sorry, I just want to say makes a lot of sense now. It makes sense because it's under the provision of the executive committee and not council committee specifically. So thank you. It's cleared up.
Okay, awesome. So it sounds like out of this discussion item, and Judith, thank you again for bringing this to the attention of the executive committee. We should look forward to possibly putting down a motion for the next executive committee meeting when that is called and when that is fully scheduled at a stable time for everyone, and that we get that committee going and elect someone to that, a non-executive counselor to it. Judith, you are on the list.
Yeah, just to clarify, to make sure everybody's on the same page here, are we cool with me sending out an email to council and be like, hey, this is a thing. Here's a bit about it. Would you like to be a part of it? Just seeing a random thumbs up. Awesome, cool. So I will do that. And once we have an ideal time we can meet, that will be awesome. I do want to preface this on the composition. It does say preferably a non-executive counselor. If we cannot get one, I guess temporarily we could have an executive sit on it. I suggest we don't do that because past HRP council reps, to the best of my knowledge, was the old gender studies council rep in 2021. So I think we should probably stick with that and make sure we actually do get non-executive on there for the sake of balancing out how that committee works. But I do need to go in case I want to actually get home today. So it was lovely seeing everyone. And yeah, thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you. Judith, before you head out though, on the discussion items list, you did submit item 11.7, which is sub walkthrough for SFU. I'm going to assume that you want to table that for the next executive committee meeting.
Sure, yeah. We can table it, or I can just send out an email sometime in a couple of days. It's nothing urgent. It's not to brief people on where we are at.
Sounds good. Then we'll just scrap 11.7 then. All right, cool. Thanks, Judith. Bye. All right, so it is still us in here. We have a little bit left to go through on the agenda, so let's keep on rolling through. We have item 11.2, which is email from Aisha purchasing laptops that can be signed out for staff who either work a hybrid schedule. It was submitted by our VP Equity and Sustainability, Ria. So Ria, I will give you the floor since you submitted this.
Thank you, Helen. Yeah, I just wanted to bring this up to talk because I know we got this email from Aisha. And just to have this open for all exec members to talk about. But yeah, I also attached it as well. It's in the attachments for the meeting, but we received an email from Aisha about the need for laptops that can be signed out for staff who work a hybrid schedule, and also permission to buy the equipment. The email, yeah, so you can refer to the email in the attachments, and some history about it is that in the previous term, executives passed a motion to replace old desktops and other outdated equipment for staff, but the laptops were missing in that original order. Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up so that we can discuss this need that was brought up by staff through email, and wanted to open it up because I know that emails do tend to be a lot, and this is also a big thing that was noted. And just to create like a plan of action so that we can fill in the gaps that staff are facing in terms of productivity and also accessibility as well. Yeah, so just want to open it up.
Okay, thank you, Ria. Anyone on the list that want to speak about it? Okay, well, I'm going to chime in here. Purchasing laptops that can be signed up for staff. I want to actually ask a question for Abby. Abby, I hope you're still there. I think you're okay. I wanted to ask you if you have been approached already by Aisha or anyone regarding this, because this will affect your portfolio more than
I have not. I have not been approached.
Okay. Could we could we task you to get in contact with Aisha and figure out how much of our funds, like how much room do we have? Because I am wondering how many laptops we can buy.
Yeah, sure, I can do that. I can send her an email.
Okay, thank you. Until we know how many, then we know whether we can or can't distribute these laptops. So yeah, Abby will get in contact with Aisha, get to know the situation better, and then figure out how much room do we have to purchase laptops for staff. How does exec feel? Ishana, you're on the list.
Hey, yeah. I was just looking at the email right now, and it actually said to all execs. So I think we all got the email. So maybe we just didn't see it, but I think so. I guess we might have just like not picked up on it. but on the email it says exec only. But in terms of getting laptops for staff, I feel like that would be great, especially for like hybrid situations if they do need to take a laptop home. But yeah, of course, like consulting with the VP Finance on this. But yeah, I'm in favor of it in terms of getting things for staff.
All right, thank you, Ishana. Ria, you're on the list.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I know that sometimes like we miss things through email, so I just wanted to bring it up just so yeah, we can like discuss this and like yeah, I think that sounds good. Just seeing what the need is, also what we can provide, and like working together. So yeah, I think that sounds good on my end.
Thank you, Ria. Yeah, thank you for bringing it up because yes, our inboxes do get filled up very, very quickly. So this was good that it was brought to our attention. Yeah, so yeah, thank you, Abby, for diving deeper into this. Once we get an idea of the number of how much we can purchase, then we can also look through and see, okay, how many employees actually need a laptop as well. Right? So, oh, Nikki, you're on the list.
Yeah, I think you actually answered my question. I was also going to say that like one way that it can be done is just by like making a either anonymous or non-anonymous poll to staff, like from whoever is working with that, like probably Aisha would when she's back from break, but yeah, like, I mean, it depends also on like how many staff actually need the laptops too, right? So it could be catered based on that as well. But yeah, I think you mentioned that, Helen. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. You know what? Actually, that is something that I can do then. I will send an email out to our staff and ask, okay, hey, who needs a laptop? Who's working remotely? How many are working hybrid as well? Because one thing is for sure that we need to start incentivizing staff to come more to the sub because we're shifting our operations more in person. But I am especially concerned for those who have an access need where they need to stay home, right? So let's definitely investigate that further. But yeah, Abby will reach out and I will reach out as well. So awesome. Anyone else have anything to say? Okay, seeing none, let's close that discussion item. Thank you again, Ria. And let's move over to another one submitted by Ria, which is item 11.3, query and request for further information from Women's Center Coordinator to possibly expand Women's Center services to the Surrey campus. Which was again submitted by Ria. So Ria, you have the floor.
Thanks. Yeah, I know I have a couple, so just going through them one by one. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this up on the radar for everyone. Simi, the Women's Center Coordinator, reached out to me and Ishana through email to set up a meeting, and then we were talking about possibly expanding Women's Center services to the Surrey campus after a tabling session at Surrey campus that Simi had, and she was talking about how students were concerned or they wanted to, a lot of students are just at Surrey and they needed access to Women's Center services. But yeah, this is just kind of like an inquiry as to what spaces are available, which yeah, this will need to be discussed and passed with the collective itself, as the collective needs to approve this and needs to be passed with them. But just wanted all execs to kind of be aware of this happening and like this concern. Yeah, and then about spaces as well, like currently there's only the Surrey space and like the lounge space, and any additional space will have to be leased. So going forward, this will need to be done, again, working with the collective and seeing what their needs are and what they want to prioritize, and like who is involved and like what kind of has been happening so far. I know Simi has had a meeting with EFWA, and she kind of requested from us more information about what resources there are and kind of like an overall feel of what she needs to do if it were to be passed by the collective. And FUA also mentioned to her as well that the Surrey campus does only have 10K, and Women's Center would need to cover all the small social events costs. So yeah, if it does get passed with the collective, Simi was just wondering who would be the point of contact alongside myself to work with the collective, and potentially in the future work towards getting more funds. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ria. Okay, so just so I have a better understanding, I'm going to just start chiming in with the discussion. If anyone else has anything they want to talk about, again, please list yourself in the chat and I will call on you. You know what? Abby's already listed himself. I'm just take a back steer and listen instead. I'll get back to my thing later. Abby, go for it.
I'll be real brief. I'm very much in support of Women's Center services in Surrey. Again, it's going to be tough because we don't know where we're going to put them. And if we do find somewhere to put them, we don't know if it's even going to be a space that's adequate for the services they're going to provide. But I feel like Surrey's kind of like always been the, I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. Surrey campus has always been neglected to some degree. So I think it'd be nice to get the Women's Center services up and running there, even if it's not at the full capacity to what it is here on Burnaby campus. It'd be nice if we can at least get something there so that we can provide support to people. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Ria, I'm going to ask a quick question, just so I'm clear. Women's Center Collective is looking for a space. That is what they want.
So actually, it's not the Women's Center Collective yet. It was Simi, the coordinator. She just reached out to us as like an inquiry and like in case it is like passed through the collective and if it's something that the collective even wants to do, just kind of looking into what resources are available. And then she is working to present it to the collective and see if they want to include this. But I know that she is thinking about doing some like trial runs in the summer if the collective agrees.
Yes. Okay. This makes sense. All right. So I'm going to chime in here and echo what Abby said. I am in full support of making sure that we can provide those resources for the Women's Center Collective. The issue right now is, what are our resources? I don't think we have a full, clear grasp just yet. But if we get some more, I guess more, if there's a follow-up later, whenever Simi gets around to chatting with the Women's Center Collective, and if she wants to put a plan in place with the SFSS, then she can come to us directly, and we can start further investigating. I also have a contact, I think, to the Surrey Campus Engagement Coordinator. I don't know how much that'll help, like the one that works for SFU. So if that's going to help, I'm more than happy to pass along a contact or start up a point of conversation between the two with Simi. So yeah, we don't know what the resources are, Ria, but we're more than happy to start investigating them, if that helps. Okay, their list is popping off now. Ria, you have the floor.
Yeah, I was just saying, yeah, that sounds good. I think it is important to make sure that, like it does, like the collective, for them too, that it is something that they want to do and that they think they have capacity for and want to focus on as well, because it is the collective that is going to be running it and Simi is there to support. But yeah, for sure, I can let Simi know and we can ask her for a follow-up on where the collective is at, and then we go into kind of like investigating what we can do to make it happen as much as we can.
Yes, in whatever way we can support, where they need our support, we'll find a way. Ishana, you have the floor.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask about the trial run. So this would be after the collective says yes if they do, right? This question is for Bia, by the way.
Yeah, so everything would have to be like run through the collective. I will check in with Simi and also Nim, who's the council rep for the collective as well.
Thank you. I know Simi has also, oh wait, actually, never mind. There's already a direct response here. So Ishana, go for it.
Yeah, awesome. Leah, I know you may not have the answer to this yet, but do you know what the trial runs would look like? Would it just be giving resources to folks who need them, or what would happen there?
Yeah, I'm checking the email. I think you're also in the chain. It's okay, so she said FOA was on board with me trying to make a once a week trial run in June. Once I present this idea and get my collective's input, I will draft up some social media contact for FOA. It's most likely, she said it's most likely going to be in the lounge space. Yeah, so I think it was just like, they'll have a table and then give out like supplies sort of thing.
The lounge as in the SFSS lounge or the mezzanine?
Let me see.
Like when I say the mezzanine, it's like, you know, when you walk up the stairs at SFU Surrey and then there's that open space with the study tables. I just want to double check because even putting a table there, if the collective wanted to do that, right, then that would provide good visibility for Women's Center as well.
Yeah, I want to check because I know in the meeting too, she was talking about potentially having a space within the SFSS like office there, but I'm not sure. Let me check. I'm not sure if Ishana, you remember as well. Yeah.
Okay. Cool stuff. I guess we'll just wait on, we'll wait for the green light. We'll wait for the lead of what the Women's Center Collective wants to do. Oh, I'm sorry, Shauna. I just didn't see. Go for it.
No worries at all. I'm just gonna say, like, from what I remember from our conversations, I think, as Ria, you said, it was about having space in the lounge. But I think I'm not sure about that. Having space in the lounge, that's all I remember. But I think we were still trying to figure out, I feel like this goes into our conversation about figuring out our resources, if we do have to lease a space, but I feel like, yeah, that's in the future too.
Great. Thank you, Ishana. Before I chime in, does anyone else want to have anything to say about this? Yes, Ria, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. Yeah, I was going through the email again, and I think she's referring to the lounge as in the mezzanine.
Okay. Yeah. Even better, because, okay, I'm going to chime in now. The SFSS offices in Surrey, they're not as visible to find. It's just a small little thing in the corner. On the third floor. So putting a table like out in the mezzanine, it's going to provide a lot more visibility for students because that's like the main entry point, which is even better for Women's Center at the end of the day. So yeah, yep, exactly. So I think Ria, we'll just wait for the leadership of the Women's Center Collective and see what they want to do next. Then we'll figure out how we can help support them. Ria, you're on the list again.
Yeah, I just wanted to add quickly. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's definitely better for visibility because that's the space where everyone comes into. But I know she was talking about also having like a more like private space as well for people to feel comfortable to come into. And there is a lot of like stigma around certain supplies as well, just to provide that. But again, it's about leadership from the collective and what they want to prioritize. So yeah.
Yes. So Yeah, just got a thumbs up reaction. Okay, yes. So like what Ria said, we'll wait on their leadership. And then we'll go from there on how we can help support them. So this is a great discussion item. Thank you again, Ria, for bringing this up at our executive committee meeting. This is good. Great. Let's close this discussion item and move on to item 11.5, and then we'll have 11.6 after. So we are almost done. We're getting there. On to 11.5, it's titled Community Guidelines, Boundaries, and Etiquette for Council Members and Establishing Expectations for Appropriate Behavior and Use of Platforms, i.e. Zoom video, and audio function, Zoom chat, Discord, and in meetings. This was submitted by Ria. Oh, Ria, you have a point of order.
Yeah, sorry, I think we missed over 11.4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. I am wrong. I was skipping too fast ahead. Thank you for bringing that up. We're going to roll it back a little bit. The actual 11.4, which is community guidelines, boundaries, and etiquette for all executives in all communications and meetings. Ria, this is your discussion item. Again, it was submitted by you, so please take it away.
Yeah, for sure. So I just wanted to talk about formally establishing some like community guidelines, boundaries, and etiquette for all executives in all our communications and meetings. And I just wanted to bring this up to just ensure that we're conducting ourselves in a collaborative and open way that allows for like learning, growth, and to avoid creating either like disorganized and an unsafe working environment, as these spaces can become very unsafe, especially for historically excluded and marginalized peoples, and just to be aware of how power dynamics come into play even when we're not aware, and like everyone is susceptible to this, and just important so that everyone can be part of the actions and discussions at hand, and that we're really working together and communicating transparently with one another, and that also our students do see us as leaders and people who can be approached. Also further, it's important that as conflict does arrive, which conflict will arise, and that's okay, but it's important that we do navigate through this conflict following a set of guidelines to ensure that respect and safety is there for everyone. And also through these guidelines, I think it's important to create expectations for accountability and really just to create a culture of accountability with us folks, and just so things also don't, like folks don't have to feel like they have to hold something back and then it blows up in the end. But I think best way going forward with this would maybe having a discussion with the PERG, who does have a community guidelines session, that maybe we can work to having a session to make these community guidelines, and even having them facilitate this, as they are professionals who have done this for a lot of groups. And I think it's also just like a fun, like moral kind of like dev session of like community guidelines and like working with the PERG too, and really just having the space for us to discuss what our needs are and like what safety and what our boundaries are, all so we can set ourselves up for a successful year as well. But I just wanted to open this up to a discussion and see what everyone's thoughts are and how to move forward.
Okay, great. Thanks for bringing that up, Ria. All right, list is going off. Nikki, you have the floor.
Thanks, Ria, for bringing this up. I think like questions and like concerns and thoughts about like boundaries, expectations, and topics like that are not often brought up enough. And sometimes like in a lot of workplaces, not just like here, anywhere in particular, like sometimes like I guess the normal thing is to expect that everyone is on the same page. So I think it is good to set up norms and things like that. So I do think this is this is brought with good intentions and can help us. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Nikki. Ishama, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Ria, for bringing this up. I completely support and agree with bringing in the PERG as well. I think it would be really great to have that space and to also talk about our boundaries and our needs like for the rest of the year. Also, just working with people on who do know this in a professional manner as well. But yeah, I just wanted to show my support for this. So thank you for bringing this up.
Great, thank you, Ishana. Anyone else? Other executives that didn't get a chance to speak? Vaibhav, Abby, your thoughts? Nothing to add, okay. All right, I'm gonna assume that's gonna be the same for V. So I will chime in. I think this is yeah, I echo everything that's already been said. So I guess, Ria, are you wanting to make contact with SFPERG and ask for like a 1 hour session for all of us to talk through? Because I'm unclear of what a plan could look like. Ria, you have the floor.
Yeah, that sounds great. I am writing down all my action items from this meeting. I can do that. Definitely
Okay.
Reach out to Chantal or Calamity, someone from the PERG who can set this up.
Okay, great. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks for bringing this discussion item up. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving along. Now we're going to go to 11.5, which I was just reading earlier. And that is titled Community Guidelines, Boundaries and Etiquette for Council Members and Establishing Expectations for Appropriate Behavior and Use of Platforms, being Zoom video and audio function, Zoom chat and Discord and in meetings. This again was submitted by Ria. Ria, you have the floor again.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my last one, but just to echo everything that I kind of said in the previous discussion item, I just wanted to specifically discuss the community guidelines, boundaries, and etiquette for council members as well, and establishing like expectations for appropriate behavior as well, and also the use of different platforms, as in the discussion item, like Zoom video, audio function, Zoom chat, and Discord. When conducting meetings as well. I think the unique concern for council is that there are over 60 members, and it's important that everyone is able to access all the resources and meetings. And yeah, like for instance, we need to ensure that during council, representatives and executives aren't interrupting meetings with sounds, speaking out of order, even if it may be funny as well. It can be off-putting for students, and also their trust in us as well, and disregarding the labor of the chair and other members there to respect their DSUs, constituency groups, etc. I know it's also a lot of us are friends outside of council as well, but so it makes it hard conducting ourselves in different spaces, but just to make sure that we are appropriately holding ourselves in these meetings and in these spaces. I think it also prevents us from running these very long meetings inefficiently, making it kind of like less accessible for students to join if we can't get things done efficiently as well. And I know, speaking to my own experience, the music that was kind of played in a previous meeting, it was like pretty triggering to my migraines, and I do have a severe condition. Yeah, so I also know that other counselors have reached out to me voicing their concerns as well, with not wanting to use the word professionality within like a colonial term, but like just the way that meetings are conducted as well, and like wanted to see some more leadership from the execs and the chair too. And yeah, although council is a great place to make friends and socialize, and all of us are so passionate about student engagement and the work that we do, I think it is important that we make sure to follow our obligations as board members in these very like important positions of leadership and power that we do have, and like needing to ground ourselves in that. I think also suggesting that we as execs do lay some ground community guidelines specifically for all the different platforms that we're going to be using, including Zoom and Discord, and just making it clear in the future, preferably the next council meeting, just what we want, just what council meetings should look like. And then another suggestion as well is that we could also have an SF workshop. I know there is a dev session coming up with Chantel, so I can also discuss with her to go further into that, so that if people have anything else to add on to the community guidelines, we could do that and have that be a more interactive session. But yeah, I just wanted to open it up for folks and to speak about their experiences and what we can do as well as a team.
Ishana, are you on the list? Did you just list yourself? Okay, go for it. I didn't know if it was like from before or something. I was like, wait, hang on. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I totally support what Ria is saying here. Especially I can talk to my own experiences as well, especially when we have council meetings or dev sessions, when the Zoom chat is, when there is spamming in there, it's hard to focus sometimes, especially like sometimes if the chat is closed and you keep getting the notice, you know, like the little icon where, like the red icon where it tells you how many chats. So like just making sure that folks know to, just in these spaces, like of course, as Ria said, like it's great to have those spaces to like create friends, but maybe like as said before, I think it was mentioned on Discord to talk about things like in the random section, just so it's more organized. It would be great. But yeah, fully in support of like also having that dev session for counselors. I feel like it would be great to have that interactive thing where counselors can ask questions, and as well as executives. But yeah, that's my piece on it.
All right, thank you, Shauna. Anyone else on the executive team want to say anything? No? Okay. So I will chime in here. I agree. It was very hard, especially myself as the chair of council, to do my job in terms of like, for example, counting votes. That was tough. And thank God I had Abby with me. Otherwise, if it was just myself, it would have been bad. So my plan of action already, not even having seen this discussion item, was at the next council meeting to outline certain guidelines that I expect from counselors to make my job easier to keep the meeting moving forward. So again, I'm glad we have a random chat in Discord. You can tell counselors go there if you want to say things. Otherwise, if it's unnecessary to say anything in the chat, don't put it in there. Leave it solely for the functions of council. Let's not use music. We had to, yeah, in the recording of the council meeting, like it was very loud as well. So I can't imagine what it must be like if students were to access that recording of the meeting online and hearing this booming music, right? So that's already been taken out to cut down the break times in between the voting and just the breaks in general. So yes, I echo everything that's been said. And at the next council meeting, I will be outlining it because it was, again, myself as chair, very hard to have conducted that meeting. You know, and also in a way it felt a little bit like, a little bit unsupportive as well, because I'm already juggling so many balls in one meeting itself. So yeah, that is that. Let's move on to the next discussion item. Thank you again, Ria, for bringing this up. Oh yeah, and one more thing. If whatever that dev session will be with SF Perg, that's great. I don't know. I don't have anything else to add to that other than the fact that that's good that we have it set up with SF Perg already. So yeah, awesome. Let's move on to item 11.6. Which is titled Presentation for SPC Card to be included in student services we offer as a union, which is submitted by Bob, our VP Events and Student Affairs. So since this is your discussion item, please lead the way. You have the floor.
Hello, everyone. I know everybody's tired, so I'll just keep it short, but like knowledgeable. Please allow me to share my screen. Can you give me the authority, Helen?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, sorry, give me a sec here.
Take two.
Okay, you should be a co-host now, so you should be able to share your screen.
Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so this like presentation was not made by me, first of all, to be clear. This was made by the presenters. They put the logo and stuff here, which is, I think, so it's fine, you know, not a big sort of issue. So you all know, like, do you guys all know like what SPC is? Can you please raise your hands in the chat or like do something to let me know that, like, you know, what SPC is? I can see Abby, I can see Nikki, I can see Helen, Ishan, and Rhea. Do you know what SPC is? Okay, Ishana knows. Rhea, I think so. You're the only one left out. Executive.
Oh, I don't actually.
Okay, so I'll start with the introduction of SPC. SPC is basically like a student card which is given to like university students to get discounts on a couple of things. Like they are kind of linked to companies like Adidas, Levi's, Nike, Burger King, like tons of companies like these. And like when you present this card, you get a discount on the services or like the eateries like Burger King or like Blends Coffee. They have like a contract with brand Blends Coffee as well. So you get like 10 to 15% discount on whatever like the final bill is. Plus, it depends on like the percentage, depends on like the contract of the company, you know. So it's more of a discount card, like a student card. The services are usually $10 a year, like the card is $10 a year, but that is going to be increasing to $12, $11.99 a year, beginning next semester, I assume. And moving forward, like, so this is like, this was kind of like started in 1992. This was like focused on high school and university college. It saves like the student members over like $250 annually on whatever we spend on the companies that are like associated with SPC. And the mission is to basically like, you know, to have more students and get more companies in the loop and give more discounts to students. And the audience is 65% female, 30% male, 60% are mostly like university students. And like they have their app and 20% is on like the desktop version. They have more than like 500,000 downloads, plus 1.3 million digital students reach. So moving forward, I will talk about like, you know, their like services. So you, as you can see, Adidas, like if you buy a shoe worth $152, you're saving more than 20%, like roughly 20%. And Levi's too, like you're saving 15%, Samsung, you're saving 10%. So it depends on the company to company, like whatever contract they have, but at least what you can save on these kind of companies is 10%. So these are the companies, like the big companies that are kind of like associated with this. H&M, Pizza, Burger King, Foot Locker, Levi's, Adidas, Apple, Samsung. And like they're going to increase the services to $12 a year. And like what they do is basically they reach out to companies and have a deal with them, you know, to increase their kind of selling through students. And like these are the companies basically, like again, Booking.com, KFC, like big companies, right? Like they all are big companies. So the main kind of like motive for me to bring it here was like, usually students take it as a services like privately, which is like $10 to $12 a year. And my main meeting with them was like, if we buy it in bulk, they're willing to reduce it to as less as $4 a student if we buy it for students like we buy UPass and like we buy health and dental, which like kind of becomes cheaper when we buy the like services in bulk. So like if we just kind of do partnership with them, they are going to put our logo on their website as well. Like, you know, we kind of we are associated with them. Also, let me just search the numbers. Like he sent me the numbers as well. It's just like right now more than 550K student members across Canada, and BC is #1 province, followed by Alberta, and then like Manitoba is like a distant third. Saskatchewan is like a very small, 13% from Quebec, 7% from Atlantic Canada, and they have 450 retail partners, but it's over 500 like overall like local plus e-com plus national plus regional retail partners. So this is like what they do, and now I think so you have a better idea of like their services and stuff. I'm open for like any kind of suggestions or discussion items that you want to bring on this. I was thinking like to make it as a part of student services, like, you know, how we charge them like for UPass $176 for a semester. We can charge like just like $1.50 a semester, which is like pretty reasonable. And students must be like kind of willing to pay for these kind of services, like which are going to save them at least like they're not like losing money in this, right? $1.50 is like basically nothing, like, and they can use this for like just like a coffee and they save $1 each. So this was my kind of like presentation. If you guys have anything to like put up for this, yeah, I'm more than happy to talk about that. Right.
Okay. Thank you, Vaibhav. Let's start going down the speakers list. Nikki, you're on the list.
Thanks, Vaibhav, for the presentation. I actually have some experience with student price card previously. As a student who's gone to, I've had access to it in high school and also I believe at Douglas College as well. I never used it. And I think the reason, and this is just, I'm just giving my anecdotal experience, and I guess like some ethical / philosophical considerations with like the SFSS doing any kind of partnership like this. And it's really that I didn't use it because I felt like it's usually a 10% discount for the most part in each store that you get to go, and that does add up. It does help with, you know, any additions that you know, sales taxes may add on to, right? But in order to get the benefits out of it, it does promote consumeristic practices, which is buying things that you don't necessarily need. And although like on the surface, yes, we can say it helps students save money. It's kind of, in order to save money, you still have to buy things, and it might not be something that if we just, it depends on what we consider to be the values of the SFSS, right? But from one philosophical viewpoint, it could be argued that it is promoting consumerism, and that students may not be in the financial situation to be encouraged to always want to, you know, like spend money. And this could be a way to be encouraging students to spend money that they don't necessarily have, right? That's just one thing that kind of popped into my mind with it. Because in order to get the benefit out of it, you do have to buy things. And a lot of places that you do buy it at, they're like very like, I don't know, like American Eagle, for example, and, you know, like kind of fast fashion places. So it's kind of, that's one thing to consider. Another thing to consider with this also is that with any kind of points program, the way that these companies make money is that they assume that the majority of people that have access to the points program are not going to use it. And that's how their business model is modeled after, right? So with student price card, the only way that it actually ends up being profitable for the people that are running it is that most students won't be using it, right? So that's also one reason you can think about that maybe it might not be the best, because maybe some students may really like it, but the majority probably wouldn't use it. And that's just one thing to also consider. But these are just like my thoughts with this kind of initiative, and I kind of can see through the I guess like the business model of it. So yeah, just my thoughts, but hopefully that provides more I guess context and clarity surrounding this. But I do appreciate Vaibhav you bringing it up.
Okay, let's keep going down the speakers list. Abby, you're next.
Yeah, I'll throw in a couple things. I'll say Mr. Vice Chair, Mr. Ben Tischler saw this and he was in favor of the partnership with SPC because he thinks that'd be useful, and I agree as well. I think the SPC is a very useful thing, and I too, like Nikki, bought it and kind of wasted my money by not using it, but that was just me being lazy. I think lots of students will get plenty of use out of it if we were to form a partnership, and I don't think there's much harm in forming some sort of partnership with the SPC. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Shauna, you're on the list.
Yeah, in terms of like the SPC card, I personally use it like through my bank. So I'm just kind of confused on like how it would work with the SFSS. So for example, I know they have a partnership with the IBC, and honestly, like the discount does help me. So I think it would be great for students. I'm just wondering how the partnership would actually work. And also those slides you had, could you send those to the execs just so we can have it? Perfect.
Sure.
Okay, so that was a question asked. Vaibhav, I know you're on the list as well, but I would assume you might be able to answer this for us if you have any idea on it too.
Yes, like, so how they will kind of come in collaboration with us is basically they send a code to like every student. They will send a code like, like the UPass, you have to go to their portal, right? And like sign in with your SFU ID. And then you just like kind of process your UPass for next month, right? So it's going to be kind of a same model, like, students go to the SPC website, they kind of load it in their wallet. And yeah, so that's how it works. And by the way, guys, like they sent like 7 of like the VIP free kind of codes for us executives. I'll share it with you guys for 1 year. Like those are VIP services for everybody. Even if we just go for it or don't go for it, we have 1 year of free services. So, I'll share it with you guys like one by one, like so you can take one each. I'll just mention the.
Okay. Thank you.
Another thing, like I have something else to say too. It's just like having these services. Like if we, Nikki, I kind of like I agree that it does promote consumerism, but it's just like giving UPass to students. Like it means like they travel more, which is like kind of secondary, result of like giving them the UPass. Like they travel more, they spend more time going outside. But our main purpose is like they are like connected with the eateries too, like Burger King, KFC. People eat this like on a regular basis, right? So like our main goal is to like get them, save money on those products too. People, buy kind of like clothes anyways, right? Like we all buy clothes like once a year. So it's just like, we can save money on that.
Okay. That's it, Vaibhav?
Yes,
okay.
That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm just looking at the speakers listed again. Nikki, you listed yourself again.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a product of my critical thinking mind being trained in philosophy, but I do like to poke holes in some things just to see the merits of arguments. And I think and this is just a commentary on the structure of student price card and how they are able to remain profitable and how this may be at the expense of how beneficial it is to students. But if they are following, based on what you said, a process that's similar to loading a UPass manually, that's actually a de-incentivization measure for students not to use the SPC card, because you actually have to take a manual step out of your day to actually remember to load your card at the start of each month and actually load it and care enough about to load it. So like that will actually really significantly de-incentivize students from actually using it. And some students don't even know, because like UPass is essential, right? And even some people even forget to load their UPass, right? So I feel like based on that structure and even that alone, like I feel like I wouldn't support it if that's the case, that it's not actually automatically granted to students, but they have to manually load it, because I know that most students probably don't even understand like the benefits of the student price card. They may not even want to listen or have the capacity to listen about like the I guess like how to load it and what the benefit is. So I think it's an unnecessary barrier. But I guess once a year, I was just see the chat here. That's better than monthly, but I do think like loading it is like also a barrier, and that's something to consider. And I'm not sure if that's ingrained in the structure of how they do it, and that's not, maybe if that's something we can negotiate with them possibly, but I do see that as being a big problem. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. Now, before I go down the speakers list, Vaibhav, I saw you listed. Are you wanting to do a direct response to Nikki and what she just said? Or
Actually,
is this like a whole, okay.
Direct response, right. I would say.
So just for everyone's clarity, if you have a direct response to someone's query, you are going to do a double asterisk. I can't find the asterisk because I'm tired.
No, I just did it.
But you know what? Oh, here it is. There we go. Exactly. So you have the floor since it's a direct response.
Okay, so it's just like kind of like if we just have to go to the portal to load this as a student services, it's just like we give them health and the dental too, but we just like don't remind them to get their teeth cleaned, right? They have to go to the doctor themselves to access the services. And for the same for the health, right? We just don't tell them to go to the doctor, but like we give them the services anyways, right? But they have to access it kind of like themselves. So it's just like more of like we are not taking, like we are just trying to give them something way cheaper than they can get in the market. Like that's like from a student union perspective, we are trying to kind of like make one service like really affordable that is really expensive. If they just like, it's just like almost like 1/4 or 1/3 of like the actual price. So just like presenting it as like a more of a service rather than just like, making it a burden on them. Like accessing the service it's just like, again, like, a UPass, if they don't kind of load it, it becomes kind of like their own circumstance or like their own kind of, situation. Even same with the health and dental. I have been taking that for like 3 years, but I have kind of not been using it for 3 years. So I won't kind of put the fault on SFSS for this, but I will take it like on myself, right? I didn't use the services. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before we keep going down the speakers list, I do want to outline this to everyone here. Nikki has a direct response. After Nikki's direct response, I do want to give space to Ria because she's been waiting on the speakers list. And then after Ria, I do want to chime in with my thoughts. So Nikki, you have the floor with a direct response.
Thank you. So Vaibhav, this is a very brief direct response. So I know that you mentioned, and I think this is just like a suggestion for negotiation. I think students expressed that if everyone automatically has to pay for a UPass, regardless if they use it or not, right? And with the UPass, it is quite a bit more expensive, like for each student, like in the breakdown, right, than a student price card would be. However, based on that precedent that's set by students being upset by not being able to opt out, I just wonder, and I want to ask this to Vaibhav, if you can negotiate a way for students to opt out of the student price card fee or opt in and only have to pay for it if they opt in, something like that, because I feel like that would be more fair but I'm not sure if they would go for that kind of deal, obviously, because like they're probably expecting everyone to pay for it, right? And kind of do it that way. But that's it's my suggestion. So, and thank you.
Vaibhav, if it's a short direct response.
It's a really short. It's just like, it's not even direct response. It's just like when we kind of like, deal with a company, like when we deal with UPass, it is kind of like it becomes out of their kind of control to deal directly with the students. So like we as a student union have to buy the services anyways from you, the company itself. So I'll work around it. Like, I don't know, like if the company would be ready to do something like that, like if people can opt out, they want to have the specific number, right? Like since UPass, like we give it to every kind of undergrad student, or like I think some grad students too. But it's just like more of our responsibility to pay to the TransLink rather than like they're taking the money from the students, So even if they opt out, like we have to pay them anyways.
Okay. Thank you, Vaibhav. So I want to remind everyone in this room, just to be mindful with how you do direct responses. It is not meant for you to have a one-on-one conversation within a group of everyone here. And that's also going to apply to council, which I hope that never happens. So again, please be mindful how you use direct responses so we don't take up too much space and too much time when we can keep moving the conversation forward. So let's go back to the speakers list. I want to give space to Ria now. She's been waiting. Ria, you have the floor.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to add, yeah, I think it's good because as we do see with the rising cost of living, rising tuitions, just rising gas prices, just everything rising, like it makes it really affordable unaffordable for students, sorry. And talking about consumerism as well, it's important that we do keep that in mind, but also keeping in mind that a lot of students are low to mid-income students as well. And for them, it's kind of just like buying the needs that they do need. So when they're buying clothes or when you're going to buy, I know they also, I've seen it, like they have it at different like school supply places and like for food and all these things. Like for them, it's just kind of like buying the things that they do need. And of course, like if you want to treat yourself or something, like that's also another thing. And of course, fast fashion is something that we should not be supporting and working to end fast fashion, but then also keeping in mind that this is a larger, more structural problem, and it isn't at the individual level as well. And that like if we can provide a discount for students, even though it is minimal, I think it would be good to provide that support for students. And I know I also have been meaning to download it for a while, but I know for people that do use it, the 10% does help out in a small way. And yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ria. Okay, before I jump into my thing, I see Shauna, you listed yourself, so I'll give you the space, all right?
Amazing. Yeah, I was also just going to say, I feel like it'd be a good opportunity for students to know that they do have the capacity to get the SPC card as well. As we just said, talking about inflation rates, also, I know that some not grocery stores, but even, I think some grocery stores as well, they do offer SPC. I know clothing stores, especially for students like our age, where they would go shopping as well. Overall, I feel like a discount is something, and if it helps students, I think it would be great. And as I said before, like I even use it myself. So yeah, I'm for it if we get like a good deal as well too. But yeah, awesome.
Great. Thank you so much, Ishana. I'm going to chime in with my thoughts just hearing the presentation and then also hearing what folks have been saying the last little while. Vaibhav, thank you again for bringing this up to us. There was one point in the presentation that you said about having to buy in bulk. I want to point it out that if buying in bulk is an expenditure over $5,000, I believe that will need to go through to council for approval. Now, because we have already been talking about what do students really want, what do they feel about the SPC card and all that kind of stuff, I think this is a good opportunity to take this discussion to council and see what counselors that are representing their DSUs, that represent their departments, how their students would feel about it. It would also be very helpful for the person who brought you this presentation, Vaibhav, to actually, if the representative is from SPC, to come to council and actually give this presentation themselves. So that way we can further ask questions like Ishana mentioned about how you can have a credit card that is also linked to SPC, what are the logistics behind that? How does that work with a hypothetical SFSS SPC membership card, whatever that may be? And also Nikki mentioned about opting out. Is there even an option? These are only questions that can be answered by the representative themselves. So I think this is a good vantage point for us to bring to council, as there is appetite and interest here within the executive committee and how that could benefit students. Vaibhav, if you're on the list, it's okay. Don't be sorry.
Sorry. It's I'm just joking. So again, guys, like, it's just like something I just wanted to discuss with you before, like, to kind of get your feedback. And I don't have any personal interest in this. Like, that guy reached out to me, so I was like, let's talk about this to my executives. And so since like we want to know like what the services are first, like, and also like talking about the student kind of feedback, we can kind of put a survey on our social media, something like that, where we can get to know about like, students' responses, if they are really interested in getting the services and if they really know about the services. So that's kind of my point here. Like, we haven't said yes to them yet. So it's just like we have tons of time to do that. It's just like we just want to do something better for students, and that's all.
Okay. Thank you, Vaibhav. So I'm going to ask executives here, what do we want to do? How do we feel about bringing this as a discussion to council, or a presentation for that matter, if Vaibhav is able to bring the presenter to council to present on it? Then again, maybe getting, like what Vaibhav was saying, some social media posts like, hey, how do you feel about getting 10% off on something? I'm seeing a few head nods. The list is going off. So I'm going to start calling on folks in order of the list. Ishana, go for it.
Yeah, I
I
think
listed before
great.
Ishana, if you see it.
Ishana is on the list.
I'm also.
You're on the list after Ishana.
Oh wait, okay, I'll show you.
All right, Ishana, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it would be great if we could bring it to council, see what they have to say. Also, if there's a presenter, I feel like they would probably have the answers to the questions that we have right now. And at the end of the day, can you hear that? Sorry. No, I was just gonna say, sorry. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it'd be great if if we have someone to present, and at the end of the day, like it's up to council too, right? To see if this would be great. So yeah, having a person to answer those questions, seeing what counselors think, and then if they want to bring it back to their student groups as well, I feel like that would be a great time to, maybe if they want to do surveys, maybe have a discussion with students. That's my thought on it.
Great. Thank you, Ishana. All right. Nikki, you're on the list.
Thank you. So I actually have a strong take on this. I think we should survey the students before bringing it on council. And in order to survey students, we need to get representative information about exactly what are the benefits and costs of and what are the facts of like what the SPC card entails. And also frame the, and as Judith is amazing, this Judith's not here, obviously, but like framing the survey in a way that is not leading and is not involve marketing on the end of the SPC card to make it sound more, you know, great to students, right? So instead of like saying, hey, who wants a 10% discount? You know, like instead framing it, here are the facts, right? And to evaluate it, I think it's more important for us to get the students' body to tell us about what they particularly believe is, you know, like the benefit of the SPC card, and if they like it or not, and to prioritize that. But also, of course, we can bring it to council, but I do think it's very important to have a survey come out for that, for student consultation, and also make sure that the survey doesn't involve any market, like as much marketing influence as possible. So like it avoids that. I hope that makes sense. And yeah.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. Abby, you're on the list.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what I was gonna say, so I'll retract my list. Thank you.
Okay, all good. Vaibhav, you're on the list again.
Thank you. So yeah, like again, like it's just a discussion. I think so. I feel like we should ask the presenter to come first, because like, you know, we can like have the better knowledge of the information, because I was just like a mediator and I might have missed so many like, you know, good details in this. So before reaching out to students, like before knowing the services exactly what they are, we should probably like try to have a presentation just maybe between us rather than going to the council. So just like between executives, you know, and then we can take it to the council. How about that?
Thank you, Vaibhav. I was just going to say that you took my thoughts out of my head, that if we wanted to build a survey, right, that is not misleading, right, and getting student opinion on, then we better have the presenter, the representative here themselves first before we can even build anything, and then take it to council if it got to that point. So thank you for bringing that up, Vaibhav. Nikki, you're on the list again.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and Helen and Vaibhav, exactly what you guys said. Yes, yes, yes. I really, that's essentially what I was going to suggest as well. I just want to remind everybody that the presenter is a salesperson. So they're going to be highlighting all the positives, trying to get us to be on board, right? And if they bring it to council first without us being able to deliberate on it and see it as objectively as possible, that could create actually bias, and people can be more on board if they don't have the time to take a step back and think critically about it. So I want to remind everyone, the presenter is a salesperson. We'll like get their pitch, right? But we also have to look at the facts too, right? And look at this students' you know, perspectives and thoughts and weigh everything that way. So yeah, but yeah, you guys are all on the same page. So I really appreciate that.
Great. Thanks, Nikki. Join a good grocery store too, if possible. Cool. All right. So I guess that is pretty clear then. Vaibhav, if you can coordinate to bring the presenter at our next executive committee meeting, I will call for that in the next bit. Have the presenter come here, and then we'll go from there. Awesome. Any more discussion on this item? Okay. Okay. Want me to let you in on your laptop, Nikki? You haven't entered the room. That's the thing. Oh.
I did it. No one.
Oh, thank you. I didn't use it. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right, but we're at the end of the meeting anyway, so we're good. That covers all our discussion items. So great work, everyone. Let's move on to adjournment. Oh, no, not yet. Ishana, you're on the list.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring something up. I think we just got an email from Aisha, and I was wondering if we could discuss this a little bit in terms of hiring staff, since it does seem to be urgent.
Okay, so are you wanting to basically amend the agenda to add a discussion item?
Yes,
okay,
please.
Okay, and what would you like to title that discussion item as?
I would like to put it up as hiring position for staff leaving, something like that.
Hiring, okay. Hiring position?
For staff leave.
Staff meeting. Okay.
Sorry, Ishana, you said leave, not meeting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I said leave.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Abby.
Staff leave, thank you. Okay, all right, so this is an amendment to the agenda, everyone. Bear with me while I go through this process. So for the record, that would be titled as item 11.7, since we scrapped the old 11.7, or we'll table it to the next executive committee meeting. And it is titled hiring position for leave staff meeting. We need to amend this onto the agenda. So I guess that's going to be a motion. Are you here? I need your guidance. Do I just need a mover and a seconder?
So I'm assuming Ishana would move that, then you would need a seconder.
Okay. And then opening it for discussion and taking it to a vote. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so Ishana, you wish to move this, yeah?
Yes, I wish to move it.
May I have someone second this motion to amend this discussion item onto the agenda?
VP Events.
VP Events seconds it. All right, opening the floor for discussion on the amendment. Seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. I'm going to seek unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent against this this discussion item, wait, my brain. If you wish to dissent against this discussion item, yeah, please say so now. Okay, seeing none, that is carried unanimously. We are now on discussion item 11.7. Hiring position for staff leave. Great. Ishana, you have the floor since you brought it through.
Yeah, so one of our staff members is actually leaving, and I just looked at the email right now and it seems urgent. So I was wondering, in terms of the operations organizer role, will we be having a postage for that soon? Because it is a huge role in our society. So I was wondering if we could maybe prioritize that. Also, that's basically it.
Okay, thank you. I can answer that question. So for that, I had already asked our operations organizer, we've all seen the emails, for a list of daily tasks, which they have sent to us. The reason being is that we just need to reassess, looking at the position first before I can actually approve putting it out there. I am prioritizing this. We as an executive are. That list of of daily tasks and activities has been sent over to me. So that is going to be the next steps moving forward. So when we are ready to post, which will hopefully be soon, then we will. But that will have to be through myself, I believe, in my role. Yes, that is what I'm supposed to do. So yes, it is prioritized, and it will happen. Anyone else have questions on that? Concerns? Ishana, you're on the list.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that sounds awesome. Then just wanted to make sure it was on our radar since it did seem pretty super urgent.
100%.
So, awesome.
100%. Their leave is coming up soon. So yeah, it's gonna be, we're gonna get a roll on it very quickly. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none. Let's close that discussion item. Simmer, you have lots to do on this agenda for tonight. Sorry to burden your workload. All right. Let's move on to adjournment. This is good, folks. We're closing at 30 minutes earlier than we expected it. All right. Moving on to adjournment.
Just wait, Helen. I got something.
Hi, Bub.
You can kill me later,
I
guys.
lost
Sorry.
it. Please go for it.
It's just like a discussion item. I don't know if you just want to list it on, but I was planning an event on Canada Day. So I came to know that like we had some issues last year.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in here. This is a whole new topic. Okay. So if you want to add this to the agenda as a discussion item, we're going to do that now.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Okay. We are not moving to adjournment, unfortunately, folks. One more discussion item. Yes? Yes? Okay. One last one. Vaibhav, what do you want to add this discussion item as? Like, what do you want to title it?
Event before Canada Day, maybe something like that. It's just like that event is coming around Canada Day. So I was playing something in kind of, you know, something like that can represent Canada Day as well. But like, since I came to know there were some issues. So just like maybe write event before Canada Day.
Event before Canada Day.
Yeah.
Okay. That will be 11.8. This sounds, to be quite frank, this sounds very vague. So I am going to title it as event planning for just for now.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just go with that. All right. Same drill as before. Vaibhav, you wish to move this, yeah?
Yes, I'll move
this amendment. Okay, thank you. Someone second that. If there is appetite for this.
I can second VP.
Okay, thank you, Ria. All right, I'm going to open the floor for discussion on this amendment. Seeing, okay, Ria, you have the floor.
Oh, sorry, I meant not for the amendment, just for, sorry about that. I retract.
Okay, sounds good. We're going to close discussion then. I'm going to seek unanimous consent for this amendment. If you wish to dissent against the amendment or abstain from the amendment, please say so now. Seeing none, the amendment is carried. This is now added onto the agenda as item 11.8, event planning under discussion items. All right. Vaibhav, since you brought this to the floor, you have the space to discuss it, and then I guess we'll move over to Ria after that. Yeah?
Thanks, Ellen. Yeah.
Ria, can I get a thumbs up for you just in case? Yeah? Sorry, I'm having some issues with concentrating, verbalizing. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Ria. Okay, Vaibhav, you go for it.
Thanks, Ellen. So it's just like I was organizing a treasure hunt, kind of scavenger hunt event. We were just planning, like, we will put out some questions for students, like, where's the OOC office, where's the Women's Center office, and we'll give them they put their flags kind of like, outside their offices, like we'll keep a flower pot where they can put their flags, and then they will come up and like sign up the sheet, and we'll just choose the winners, right? But since the event was happening on 29th, so I thought, like, Dipti actually suggested me that we can keep it like as a Canada Day event, more of like, where people can just like, we can label different floors, like different provinces, like say 5th floor as British Columbia, 4th as Alberta. and we just give them like a list, find the floor and put the flags on the respective provinces. So just like, again, giving them a hamper, like whosoever wins out of that list. It's just like more of a fun event, but I was like, shall I do it as a kind of just like a Canada Day event, or just as a general event? I'm just like here for discussion for this. Thank you.
I'm muted. Sorry, folks. All right. I was just saying thank you, Vaibhav. Anyone have any thoughts? Okay, Ria, go for it.
Yeah, I just want to be mindful of and remind folks and center everyone on what Canada really is, and the history of how it has come to be and how it has been confederated, and the history of colonization and what it stands for. And yeah, I know it's going forward to how we conduct ourselves, and when we put out statements talking about our commitment to decolonization and indigenizing spaces, what that means, and for events as well. And yeah, of course, raising awareness about it too, because everyone is on their journeys as well, learning more about where we are and where we're situated on as well. But I don't think it would be appropriate to do that, especially in respect also, I don't think that is appropriate to do, especially with FNMISA also in the sub-building. But regardless, I think it would be good though. I think it would be great to have a scavenger hunt idea in the sub, and it would be great to get students engaged and to know about the space, especially when we do the opening. But yeah, I think like a fun kind of summer thing would be great to do. But yeah, I think that's a great idea as well.
Okay, thank you, Ria. Vaibhav, you're on the list.
Thanks, Ria. Actually, I just wanted to get the information. I searched about this too. Yeah, so that's why I was just bringing this as a discussion item. So yeah, I'll keep this as a general event. And we won't do something in regards to Canada Day, but we'll just do it as a fun event. It was just coming 2 days before the Canada Day, so I was maybe, and this is suggested to, so, but now this will be a general event, and all the instructions and the social media posts will be just generals, not specific to anything. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. So that is settled. It'll be a general event, and whatever the scavenger hunt may be at that point, it'll be fun nonetheless. I'm hopeful for that. So awesome. Great. Any more discussion items? Any more amendments? Oh, okay. Okay, Shauna. Don't make me break my hope though. Okay, go for it.
It's not an amendment. I just have a quick question. So I was just wondering, I know in the past that John, Ella, Beauty, and Aisha come to these meetings. I was wondering if they're coming to other ones, or if it would be possible for them to be here. But yeah, looking at the meetings from last year as well, since we do follow precedent too. So just asking.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Ishana. I'm just trying to go back into my calendar because I know that they're supposed to come to these meetings. Hang on, 11 guests.
Yeah, I think they give.
Yeah, so this is a mistake on my end. I did not add Ella, Aisha, or John to the calendar invite for this meeting. So moving forward, I will be adding in our management to the calendar invite. I think that was just me getting this done and only thinking about exec and not management. So My apologies, that is a boo-boo on my end. I will make sure that that doesn't happen again and that they're invited accordingly. Okay, more on the speakers list. Abby, go for it.
Just speak to, okay, well, I don't know what happened to my voice there. Just to speak to that specifically, I think part of the issue may be that it is like 6 to 9 o'clock. So someone like BD would obviously be off work by now. So that's just BD specific, but that's just something to keep in mind.
Thank you for bringing that up. It means we'll be having to schedule next executive committee meetings at a frequent basis during the times where unionized staff are supposed to be working. Ishana, you're on the list.
Yeah, I just wanted to say sounds good to me. Thank you for putting this in the future as well. Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Nikki, you're on the list.
Just a quick question for clarity. Do unionized staff, like, are they mandated to work from 9 to 5, or can they like, okay, like it's like in their collective agreement, just to, okay. So these would have to be from 9 to 5 if we want staff to come.
Yes, like it's also unethical to just ask unionized staff to stay past 5 p.m. They're allotted to work for 7.5 hours, something like that, between 9 to 5. So yeah, don't ask staff to stay longer than 5 p.m., please, executives, moving forward. I'm going to keep that in mind when I call for the next executive committee meeting. Okay. That is it. I'm going to move to adjournment now. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Yes. Okay. Let's move to adjournment. The motion reads, be it resolved to adjourn the meeting at 8:40 p.m. I will happily move this motion. May I have someone second this?
VP Finance.
VP Finance seconds.
I third that.
Okay, we've got a third now. Awesome. I'm going to open the floor for discussion. Seeing none, we are going to take this to a vote, seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please say so now. Seeing none, this motion is carried unanimously. Execs, thank you so much. That was our first executive committee meeting. Woo! Do expect an email from me shortly for calling for the next one, or an email from me sending out a let us meet to schedule a more appropriate time for the next executive committee meeting. And we will go from there. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.